Hello everyone, welcome back to another video from Winter Forest. Today let's continue this real coding test. Today's question is task 3, express authentication middleware basics. So let's move on to the code, see what it expects. So just as usual, we're going to see the test first. Because I do not have the description about this task, but since this follow TDD, we just read the test to write our code. So if we open the test, we could see here have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Have a task going to test. Let's look up what they expect. So if you go here, you could see this before each, and so before each and after each is for the test setup. So you have this after each it is a unit test. So it will run this, then going to clean the data. So we could see the task 1 tell me we're going to generate the API key. So if we run this key store, it will generate the API key. The second task, it will run 5 times. Then they're going to read this one for generate a 5 times key. I found that this one is a bug. I will explain to you why this is a bug, but maybe someone else can solve. I just put a skip over there. I didn't pass this one. The issue is every time they claim, actually I only can get one, and for some reason. So if I'm in this file in the key generator, I save it. So yeah, go over there. Just explain. If this is going to generate the key, if I have the key in my memory, then I'm going to run this task going to pass. But this task we have a key over there, so I have a 6 key. And so it means if every time the restart I need to have a key in here in the memory, need to clean up. But I don't going to achieve this one. So I'm going to skip this task. I definitely going to pass the rest of 6 tasks. The second task and is called the API key back with a response. So if you going to, this is a service called a key store, and this is going to the path authentication, and this one we are going to read a key. Second task, once you get the authentication, get the key, now you could go to the task, you suppose use this key to get a task. But before you go into the task, they're going to do validation. So here we are check. If you don't have the head, you're definitely going to fail. If you have the head, but you had the key is invalid key, then you're also going to fail. So it's a bad request 401. And if you going to have the key, it is correct and invalid. So you go into authentication, get the key, then you use this key, go into the task, then you can pass all of this one. It's by ID. Should not require the authentication head. This one is if you have the middleware set up for authentication, only for get everybody and post everybody. But if you pass an ID, this won't do authentication. So now we know our task. We're going to see how they structure their projects. We definitely know I need to do some code in the key store. So the key store, if I can just go here, I definitely know I need to do something in here and to generate the key. And in here, you also don't need to install everything. Actually, I don't need to use this one and this one. I only need this and this to generate the key. Why? Because in the test here, they provide the util. I suggest this suppose don't put inside this test. It is supposed to put outside a util help function. In here, in the util he provided, you could read from file, remove from file, get a key, clean key, generate a key. So instead I write this code again. I'm going to use the existing util file. So I'm going to include this one in my key store. My first task start with the key store, and then we start to look at the application start from the app.js. We actually have a route. One is the root route, one is the index route. The root, the authentication route is for the key to go into generate the key store. And go back. This is not good. Go back. Go back. Go back. And so we have a 1, 2, 3 paths. So basically we need to do the task. One, it is in the authentication, we generate the key. Second thing, in the task, you're going to use this key and to do this. This one suppose don't do. They actually already passed. Here this already passed once your key is successful. So your middleware actually start with here. The middleware is what you're going to do the validation. So definitely going to do something inside here. They already have the template for you. So now just come back to the index. So first we have the app. We know exactly the task going to finish in. One is the author load, another one is the task load, have the validation. And this is the standard exploit setup. You could grab something. If you need to create an API, you actually could grab some code from there. It is quite a good code. And now just let's start our job. And first, since we do TDD, we're going to open this one, the task file on here. And our job supposed done in the key store, the first 3 tasks. So I'm going to have the index here. Index, I don't need the index. I don't need the app file, so I'm going to close the app.js. So looking here, and first we could do one by one. So if I put only run this code. And this code says if they make a request to this key store, it receive a request and respond. I suppose generate a key. So instead of write my implementation, since they already provided this one, I'm going to use the util function going to generate the key. So I'm going to include in here. So just write our implementation. We will have a keys. You see here, this action is supposed to work, and for some reason, so he provide a util. If you go into the path is not correct. So if we go into util and the slash is the task, then is our util function. We're going to use the same util function, you see. And then go back. And first, I suppose to see if they already have a key in this file, so you are going to read from the file. And the read from the file don't need to pass the path. Why? Because it actually put the key file in here, and the test also looking for this file, so I don't need to pass the path in here. So it basically here writing it is useless. And see if we have the key. Now generate the new key, use this one. and each key they actually have a non-ending. Then we push this to our key. And look at the implementation, because in here they actually get each data, they read it out, then they have a non-breaking, so they actually use this non-breaking non-end. So it actually it is our non-end. It is this one. So each line we are painting a non-end, and this reader, this is array you could see in the implementation. So it actually read it out the data, then split by this one, and so then compacted. So this is going to be a return, you see, return array back. And once we have the key, so we're going to generate the key. This won't have a non-ending, so we added the non-ending. Once we have it, then we push into our keys. Then we just, once we have the new keys, we just write it back to the file. This is the implementation provided to us. So this we are pushed back into the, or by the way, this need to change to a async function. So we have this key and we, we have this finish, then we write into the key. Once we have the key and they have a, then we could respond back. Creator is 201 and with this JSON key. API key. See here I have maybe do like this one, key value. Did you see in here I have a pending, this non-end, but the API key don't need a non-end. So I just return the key to whatever the last validation need to use it. And here we just generate the key. For some reason, this suppose is working, but I cannot pass since this is a promise, probably because this is a promise. And this say done each of their, then never passed in here. But if I put something like late keys equal to this one, then return it going to pass, but the other task going to fail. So I just skip this task. So this will definitely pass this task and also pass this task. I haven't going to authentication. So let's see task 1 going to pass. Since I put only, so it only pass one test. Now we move on to the authentication. So I should return API key back in the response. So we go into the upload. The upload in the authentication, Then go here, either looking for the key store and either expect you see API key back. So this one direct pass. So we expect 2 passes. So this what it say is going to here go back slowly. They have created the author authentication. This is the load. If we go into here, it will call this callback function. We call this callback function, say this callback function, it is allowed. Only have the load for key store. It is what we are implemented in here. So we have the implement, what they test expect me have, if they go here, expect return a key. This is read from this file. So after this done, they're going to clean this one. So here is the API key with the response. So this will be the body, have the key is API key, and this is the key value. So let me run it again. It suppose pass 2 test. Skip 1, pass 2 test. Now we have a 2 test passed. Now we just move on to the validation. So suppose return 4 or 1 if the head don't have the API key, you go into the task. And also if you have the key and the key is invalid, also is 4 or 1. And expected it is 4 or 1 by the request. So we're going to do these 2. So let's do it. And so this one going to the app and going to the task. The task going to do the validation. Do validation, we don't write in here. We actually write in here. What we do, we actually in the middleware. So we're going to do something in here. We're going to, if we're going to have the header, extract the header from our request. So if the headers if they don't have a head, and the head don't have this key, you see, we do this to validation. Header is not no, and or we make sure they have the header. We're going to validate, otherwise here we have an exam as exception. Since they have the header, we check the header have this value or not. If not, this will return false. It is for this one. Otherwise it has the head, and we also check the head, the key. We suppose going to validate it, read the key value, and then get this one, see it is inside this one, and we get the key from the file, read the key value and validate with the key. But look here, the test only have this one. I just will do coding test. You don't know the perfect code. So I just make the coding test pass. So if I receive something equal to this one, then it means I have error. So I have a constraint. I have error. Error have 2 things. They expect 401. The data action doesn't matter, but it is better you have the data. Now you just return next error. This whole task he named like a Express authentication, the basic. They expect you could validation in the middleware instead in the controller level 2. Otherwise, they pass the validation, just go into the next. since I have this error, so I'm going to create the error. So go into the our task. In here, I will accept the error. I'm going to create a middleware so you could handle everybody. I accept the error and the request respond, and also the next. If I have any error, we just return response dot status is our error dot status. Or didn't give error code, we just 500. Then we go into say .json. If I have the error data, we give the data. Otherwise, we just return empty. And in here, so either go into here. Here we throw error. Now you just very easy route dot use error. So here we accept the error because it won't go into the next. This the error. The only place handle error is our customized. I accept the error. So if I have error, I just return the error status. So this suppose pass this two. Four pass. So you see, and now we left another two. This another two actually I don't need to implement. They already implement. What are they going to? They go into the author and go into the author. We get the API key. It is what we just did it. So it is going to the author. We are going to here expect the key. So we are give the key. Once they get the key, they will use this key send a post to the task, because the post in here are after the middleware in here. So it's going to take a validation, and then it's going to do the created. The created they already implemented. So if you have something that return 201, you see 201 respond back, they already implemented. So I don't need to implement it. Go back. Now this task is basically already implemented. So just let's test it. Now we have a 5 pass. Damn it, failed. Expect 401 to match. Oh, so my middleware have an issue. I don't know why it says 201. By looking my code, I don't think I have anything. No, probably have something misspelling, mistyping. No, I just found a very harsh. I have a space in here. So if I remove this space, suppose 5 tasks passed. Yeah, now we left one more task. Just let's look up the task. And the last task is called this one. Should not require author head for unprotected route. So if you slash task slash 3, suppose it's don't need a protected. So let's look at what they say. They just send you to /2. But if you go to this one, you will get the response. They are if I not equal to 2, it is supposed to return 201. Otherwise, going to not find because this one not in the result. What they going to do? Just let's look up the task. So you put it in here. So we are the test put in here, and they go into the task 3. So if I go to a task route, and he said this route suppose don't protect it. So it is because the middleware will start with the here, so authentication will start here, only below it will protect. Basically, I don't need to do anything. Now what he said go into this task, and what he get /2, so it's going to /3. So if it is ID3, we are going to here get the ID3. Look here, the ID3 won't be founded. So if the ID not equal to 2, so you're going to request what they go back. So if we can here give ID is 3, and it will go in here. But here doesn't check and request the ID is who. What he return is just return your ID 1, then equal to this one. So is ID not so they will going to loop it. So 0, 1, 2. So if I not equal to 1 and not equal to 2, it definitely return something is 201. Otherwise, it's going to respond is not founded, because the result not in here. You're going to receive an array of this result, because here he going to post the task. So you have one more task, and then you add, then you're going to fetch the 3, and then go to the root. So let's see what is the result. If I just say dot only, so this is the last result. So now it's going to everybody pass. All of the pass, the only left it is they need a 5 result. So if I close down, go into here the task, and if I undo the change, I'm going to pass everybody, but I have one thing fail. Yeah, the fair one, it is this one. If I put only, I think this is a bug, his settings bug, because it's going to remove everybody. So if you go here, if I put only, I'm going to make this pass. I have another file in the key store. So if I put a letter key equal to here, and if I have this key, instead the key defined in here, I suppose can read from here, but why he clean up? So every time read this action, read from the file, this is a test file, the action is input. That is why this is going to fail. So if I'm going to have the key, and instead of read from the file, I push the key, I put it in here, now this test is going to pass, because I put only here, it only run this task. Now this test pass, but if I keep this one, then other tasks going to fail, because this will running in my memory and won't going to clear. So I think that this is clean. Suppose don't clean for this one, so this timing out is not very efficient. Suppose each time they're going to update it, but after each time, each one actually being cleaned up. So that's why I only have one. So I just change this to skip, and change this packet. It suggests the code. You already have a file in your database, but this is a coding test. You could write in your expectation what you found the test bug, and then you could, or by the way, I have the code already pushed into my repository if you like see it. So it actually in here got a sandy lib. You go here URL, then the master is the original code they provide, and I have the finished branch. It is the code I just read. So the change only done in the key store and the middleware, and this is practice you middleware. And hope you find this helpful. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.